私が殺したんだわ。多分。
Okay, testing audio, testing movement. Alright, great. Hello everyone. This is Gundam Ace, and I'm here on my streaming of Eve New Generation. Last time we left off, we were in Marina's side when Marina talked to Mikhail and told the story of what really happened back in with the incident 1 year ago where Alt was killed, where it turns out that Shomoto was teamed up with her and had also shot Kominato, not fatally though, which resulted in the fallout that caused the case to be covered up because of blackmail by Kominato. And then after that, she encountered the guy who looks like Abe and gave him the pendant that the guy who committed suicide gave, and he just walked off, although he claimed that he didn't know anything. And then she went to meet up with Hatsumi at the school at 6, but Effie was there instead, and said that she'd meet with Marina at the hill at 7:30, but instead decided. Wait, hold on a second. Okay, sorry, the microphone went out for a second. Sorry about that. So they decided to demonstrate some teleportation to her to teleport Marina, and then after that we switched back to Kojo's side where he heard loud sounds. He was spying on Marina and Effie, and when he sorry, what was oh right sorry when he heard a loud sound when he was spying on Marina, and then when he turned back, Marina was gone, and Effie claimed she had teleported, which of course Kojo doesn't believe in. At any rate, he decided that he needed to get. She told him that she wanted him to get all to safety, and so he tried to take her off to the fisherman. Looks like Ape, but Ape, that guy had had a letter to him from Hatsumi, who said that she was going to face off against Marin on the hill, and that one of them would die, according to her vision. And so Kojo and Ul took off to stop them, but were too late, and Marin ended up shooting Hatsumi dead. And then after Kojo went to check the body and confirmed she was indeed dead, someone took Alt away in the car that they'd driven over there, which I guess must have been Sonic the Hedgehog or someone, because I have no idea how they caught up to the car on foot after how far they drove away, but whatever. Anyway, let's continue. Sorry about not doing the streams last week. I had internet problem because of that. Um, I couldn't do the second stream, so hopefully this won't happen this week, but we'll see. Okay. Anyway, here we go. Okay, so Hatsumi is gone. So let's see. We can go to the inn, the hut, or the lighthouse. Let's go to the inn. The inn. So there's two things I have to do right now. First of all, is looking for all. The other is determining where Hojo is. I'm prioritizing the former, of course. Of course. But the latter seems easier. That's why I came to this inn. The current time is 8:30 p.m. It's almost been an hour since I saw that horrible scene. I pass through the front door and am greeted by the innkeeper. Hojo's room's on the second floor. I go up the stairs and head towards the room. Hojo is sitting down by the window. Her shoulders are slumped and her head is hanging. Her arms limply dangle to their sides. Her eyes are blank. I can't tell what she's looking at. Maybe she's not looking at anything at all. She doesn't even seem to notice I've come in. She shows no reaction even when I stand directly in front of her. What would have happened to have driven Hojo into such a wall? Why does she look so downtrodden? It's because she shot... No, sorry, it's because she killed Hatsumi? Is she losing her sanity because of her guilt? No, that's wrong. That's not it. That's not it. I'm sure Hojo is... Looks more like a pile of junk than a doll. Looks as downtrodden... Looks as poorly made as a child's attempt at creating a doll. Not resembling a human at all. The only thing that conveys that she's human is her regular breathing. It's pitiful and pathetic. Hojo, there's something I want to ask you. Where were you an hour ago? My words don't reach her. My voice just wavers in the wind for a little bit before disappearing like mist. Hey Hojo, can you hear me? I saw you an hour ago. You're on that hill by the research facility. You were straddling Hatsumi and shot her. Were you the one who killed Hatsumi? I asked quietly. Hojo's lips faintly open. A raspy voice like rusted metal comes out.
ええ、そう、
Yes, that's right.
私が殺したんだわ。多分。
I probably did kill her. You don't remember it? She nods slightly. How far back does your memory last until?
体育館でエフィーと話したところまでは覚えてるの。
I remember everything until I was talking with Effie in the gym.
でも、それから先のことはぼんやりとしか。
However, everything after that is such a blur. Does that mean Hojo's being controlled by someone back then? I look out the window. It's dark. The darkness almost seems to be raining like snow. Piling up quietly. I spot something milky white in the darkness. That vague shadow is Hojo on the floor. The window is reflecting her from the back. I see her slender shoulders, her small back. I burn the sight of her back into my brain. I circle around her. Put a hand on her shoulder. I shake her neck and rustle her hair. I push it back and give it a whiff. But even after all that, Hojo doesn't show any resistance despite all my attempts to make her respond. She just lets me do whatever I want, not so much as budging. Bring my mouth to her ear and whisper this. Hojo. Remember what you told me back at the hotel? You said no one understands you. And no one sees you. And no one cares about you. But you're wrong. At the very least, I know you. I'm seeing you. Oh, sorry. There's someone who's seeing you. And he's right here. Thank you. Hojo barely mutters that and continues.
でも、
But
私がそれを言ったのは、ホテルじゃないわ。
I didn't say that at the hotel.
タンクローリーの中よ。
It was in the oil tanker. Those words settle it. It turns the suspicion I felt up until now into certainty. There's no longer anything I need to ask Hojo. I quietly reach into my jacket pocket. I take it out and quickly get it ready. I stick it inside her without her so much as saying a word. I pour the entire thing into her. Even then, she still doesn't move. Almost like a rundown doll. 4 hours. You'll understand everything in 4 hours. I tell her that and leave the room. Okay, we're going back to the shrine now. Gotten even darker than the last time I was here. Shadows that hung over so heavily during the daytime are no longer anywhere to be seen. Shadows have melted into other shadows, the boundaries vanishing. There, it doesn't exist as a shadow, but at the same time, you could say that everything I'm seeing is a shadow. The world is covered in shadows. Even the faint flickering of the torches that try to wipe away that darkness are only giving up a feeble resistance. No one's here. The forest is asleep. Hear sounds of the festival in the distance. Turn time is 9:02. I'm 2 minutes late for my promised meeting with Effie. No. Maybe she actually got here before me. I can't make her out much in the darkness. And then, without a sound, she comes out from the
お
darkness.
祭りにはもう行かれましたか？
Did you already go to the festival? Effie speaks first. No, I didn't go to the actual festival. No, I did see it getting prepped up in the morning.
そうですか。
I see. I hear singing from within the woods from the festival. In that world of vibrant sound, Effie's voice sounds awfully weak. Sure is lively, huh? Even though someone got killed on this very island. You knew that, didn't you?
ええ、
Yes. The islanders haven't been informed?
まだ誰にも言っていません。
I haven't told anyone yet. What about the police? Effie quietly shakes her head. Why not?
今日は前夜祭、
Today is the eve of the festival.
イブなのです。クリスマスイブと同じように、この島にとってはとても大切な意味を持っています。
It has a very special meaning to the islanders, much like Christmas Eve the...
警察に通報すれば、それはたちまち島中に知れ渡ることになるでしょう。
If I inform the police, then words...
そしたらきっと
If that happened, well... Then no one would be in the mood for a festival, huh? So basically you don't want this silent night, holy night to go to waste, do you?
は
That's right. I see a depressed pallor over Effie's face. Her eyes are devoid of life, and she looks haggard almost. Her lips, even their voice, are all like a withered tree. Well, whatever. That's not what I wanted to ask anyway. Where's Alt?
い、もう手遅れですよ。
It's too late.
すべては終わったのです。
It's all over.
母の死によって計画は完結しました。
With my mother's death, the plan is complete. What do you mean?
母の予言が成就したということですよ。
I mean that everything has transpired as my mother prophesied it would. Why did Hatsumi choose her own death?
すべてはビジョンのままに。
To make everything go as according to her vision. I'm not asking for... Wait, hold on a second. I'm not asking for nonsense like that. What exactly was Hatsumi after?
最も望ましい形、最高の形態。
The most ideal form there is. The greatest apex of humanity.
母が追い求めていたのは究極の理想です。
What my mother chased after was her ultimate ideal. One minute. So when cornered, you quickly run away to idealism like that, huh? It's a trick a lot of you cult leaders use, fishy cult leaders use. What I'm asking is exactly, specifically, what Hatsumi was thinking.
もう済んだことです。
It's all over anyway,
お話ししても意味がないでしょう。
so there's no point in Got it. If you don't want to talk about it, then so be it. I'll have you answer my first question. Where's Alt?
わかりません。
I don't know. Don't give me that. You and Hatsumi put this plan put this plan together. And alt was a necessity for making this plan a reality. Otherwise, you wouldn't have kidnapped Alt back at the fireworks festival and taken her to this island on the cruiser.
私はあの子を連れ去ったりなどしていません。
I did not kidnap her.
私はクルーザーではなく水上飛行機に乗ってこの島までやってきたのです。
I didn't come here in a cruiser, but instead on a seaplane. A seaplane? You mean the one docked in the harbor?
そうです。
That's right. Well, either way, it doesn't change that you need alt. You need a host spy in order to spread VOJ. And Alt is the only one who could potentially become that host. That's why you...
もう一度言いましょう。
Allow me to say it again.
私はいかなる場合であれ、あの子を連れ去ったりなどしていません。
Regardless of the circumstances, I did not kidnap her.
今も居場所は知りません。
Nor do I know where she is now.
むしろ聞きたいのはこちらの方です。
If anything, I'm the one who wants to know that.
どうしてあの子から目を離したのですか？
Why did you take your eyes off of her?
あんなに何度も守ってあげてほしいとお願いしたのに。
Especially after all those times I told you to keep her safe.
それからもう一つ。あなたは誤解をされているようです。
You seem to have the wrong idea about one other thing.
私は VOJ を移植するとは一言も言っていません。
I never said anything about implanting BOJ.
おそらく母もそんなことは言っていないでしょう。
I'm guessing my mother didn't say that either.
そもそも不可能なのです。
It's impossible to begin with.
ウイルスのサンプルは全部処分しました。
All the virus samples have been disposed of.
研究データも残ってはいません。
There's no research data left either.
アナログのデータもデジタルのデータも何もかも一切破棄したのです。
That goes for all data, analog and digital alike. Why?
私たちの組織に公安の強制捜査が入るという情報がもたらされたからです。
Because we got a tip that our organization got a tip that public safety would be running a compulsory investigation into us.
だからその前に証拠となりうるものは全て消去しておく必要がありました。
So we needed to get rid of all evidence before that happened. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Nothing you or Hatsumi says or does makes sense. I can't see any consistency between any of it. It's all jumbled mess. On one hand, you guys talk about how the goal of the project is to make everyone annoying alt. But on the other hand, you say that all VOJ samples have been destroyed. What's the meaning of this? And that's not all, it's not adding up. Now, getting rid of your evidence before this compulsory investigation is fine and all. However, there is a witness. However, there are witnesses. Even if you manage to hush up all the researchers, there's one other witness. It's me. Why did you bring me to this island? Why did you tell me the whole plan? If I told everything to the police, then your organization would have...
ではあなたを殺しましょうか。
Then why don't I kill you? I stare into Effie's eyes. She stares right back into mine. I stare back at her without looking away. There's a dull light gleaming in Effie's eyes. vestige. I see a glimpse of the vestige of a shadow in there. Lurks deep within her eyes. Hold on a second. As if avoiding the light of the torches.
夕方、私は廃校の体育館でこう申し上げました。
Recall what I told you back at that abandoned gym earlier today.
愛とは複雑なものだと。
Love is a complicated thing.
あの言葉は詭弁でも何でもありません。私の本心でした。
Those words were no excuse. They were how I truly felt.
すべては愛のために。
Everything was for love.
母に対する愛、娘への愛、それからもう一つの愛のために、私はすべてを捧げてきたのです。それらの思いは決して割り切れるものではありませんでした。私は相反する2つの感情に翻弄され葛藤してきました。
Okay. Sorry, it seems that I lost the mic again. Let me try going back. Alright, everything was for love. I've given everything for love. I've given everything up for the love of love for my mother, love for my daughters, and one other love. Those emotions are by no means exclusive to one another. I've been toyed around by two conflicting emotions. If you believe that my actions are incomprehensible, and it's because of those emotions.
天城さんにはまだ私の過去についてお教えしていませんでしたね。
I still haven't told you about my past, have I?
私はクローンです。
I am a clone
母の
of my mother.
母の代用となる存在なのです。
I am to become my mother's substitute. I heard about that already from Hatsumi, but I don't say a word. I quietly listen to her. Her once dead voice gradually picks up life again.
私はこの小さな島で世界から隔絶されて生きてきました。
I lived on this tiny island, cut off from the rest of the world.
あらゆる情報は遮断され、あるいは統制されて私の元へと届けられました。
All information was either denied to me or only reached me in a filtered state.
学校にも行かず、もちろん友達も一人もできませんでした。
I didn't go to school, and I had no friends either, of course.
しばしば島民と話すことはあっても、それは母の筋書き通りに演出された芝居に過ぎませんでした。
My occasional conversations with the islanders were nothing more than farces that plays that went according to my mother's script.
なぜ母はそのようなことをしたのか。
Why did my mother do such a thing?
私を母にするためです。
To make me her, that's why.
私は母になることを宿命づけられた存在なのです。
I was born with the destiny of becoming my mother.
ここで言う母には2つの意味があります。
And when I say mother, I mean that in two senses.
一つは木関初美という意味。
The first is in the sense of Hatsumi Kizeki.
私は生まれた時から木関初美そのものとして振る舞うよう教育されてきました。
Ever since I was born, I was raised to behave like Hatsumi Kizeki.
人格、考え方、感情、
That went from my personality, my ideologies, my emotions.
些細なことで言えば箸の持ち方から始まって筆跡、話し方、笑い方に至るまで。
You expand into the most minor things, like how I held my chopsticks, how I wrote, how I spoke, and how I smiled and laughed.
全部、何もかも。
Every last detail identical to her.
私という人間を構成するあらゆる要素は木関初美その人のものでなければなりませんでした。
Every aspect of my life had to be identical to Hatsumi Kizeki's.
母は自分自身のコピーとして私を作りました。
My mother created me as a copy of her.
コピーである以上どんな些細なエラーも許されなかったのです。
As long as I was a copy, not even the slightest burst error could be allowed.
そしてもう一つ、
One more thing.
母には文字通り母親という意味もあります。
When I said I was to become my mother, I also meant in the sense of becoming a mother myself.
母は私に2人の子供たちの母親になることを求めたのです。
My mother wished for me to be the mother of two children. By children, you're referring to Noi and Alt?
はい、
Correct. So Hatsumi forced you to become their mother.
強要ではありません。求めただけです。
She didn't force me, she just wanted it from me.
私は自ら進んで2人の母親になることを受け入れました。
I chose to become their mother myself. But you weren't the one who gave birth to them, were you?
ええ、私ではありません。
Correct. It wasn't me.
当時私は11歳でしたから。
I was only 11 years old at the time, after all.
私を産んだのも母木関初美ではありません。
Hatsumi Kizeki was also not the one who gave birth to me either.
私が誕生した時、母はすでに45歳でした。
She was already 45 years old when I was born.
初代のクローンである私を産むにはリスクが大きすぎる。そのように判断したようです。
It seems she determined it was too risky for her to, it was far too risky, to try giving birth to a first generation clone such as herself.
健康な赤ん坊を産むためには同じく健康な若い母体が必要でした。
In order for a healthy baby to be born, a young, healthy woman was needed.
そこで母は
And then my mother left the job up to a surrogate mother.
代理母という言い方がふさわしいかどうかは分かりませんが、
I don't know if that's quite the accurate term for it. Well, whatever the case, sorry. Well, in any case, she borrowed her womb, didn't she?
え、
Yes, that's correct.
ある方の子宮に私やあの子たちのクローン胚を着床させたのです。
Me and those children's clones were implanted into that uterus, into a certain person's uterus.
1度目は26年前に、2度目は15年前に。
The first time was 26 years ago, while the second time was 15 years ago.
いえ、正確には9ヶ月の妊娠期間がありますから、27年前と16年前ということになるでしょうか。
No, to be more accurate, there was a 9-month gestation period, so I guess it'd be more accurate to say 27 years ago and 16 years ago. So what you're telling me is that you, Noi, and Alt were all born from the same womb?
そうなります。
That's correct. And who was the surrogate mother?
まゆみさんです。
Mayumi. Mayumi Tsuyuzaki, huh? Effie slowly nods as though she's reflecting on that. But why? Why would she go to all those lengths to create clones? No, I get the whole part about VOJ, don't get me wrong. I get that she needed clone data in order to develop VOJ, in order to develop the virus. But it just doesn't sit right with me. That can't be the only reason there was for it.
だから申し上げたではありませんか。
Didn't I already tell you?
母が追い求めていたのは究極の理想だと。
What my mother sought was chased after was her ultimate ideal.
母は幸せを取り戻そうとしたのです。
My mother tried to get back her happiness.
平和で穏やかで満ち足りていたかつての日々を。
To get back those peaceful, gentle, and enriching days that she once had.
喜びにあふれていた生活を、日常を、思い出を、記憶を。
To get back that happy day-to-day life. Those joyful recollections, memories, and livelihoods.
そこには母がいて、2人の子供たちがいました。
In that ideal, my mother was there along with those 2 children.
しかし、ある日突然、その幸福な日々は破壊されてしまったのです。
Oh, sorry. In those happy times.
2人の子供たちはこの世を去り、母だけが一人取り残されることになりました。母はその悲劇が忘れられなかったのでしょう。
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry this keeps happening. I don't know why. I think it's because I got a new microphone or something like that. Maybe that's why I'm having trouble with it. But let's all right, let me try going back. All right, let's go back a little bit because I can't tell exactly where I went. My mother tried to get back her happiness. To get back those peaceful, gentle, and enriching days of her days. A life, day-to-day life, memories, and recollections all full of joy. She just wanted those back. In those memories were my mother and 2. But then one day, all of a sudden, those happy days were suddenly robbed from her. The 2 children left this world. My mother was left all on her own. My mother couldn't forget that tragedy.
だからそのことを忘れるために、
So in order to forget that,
悲劇そのものを歴史の中から抹消するために。
No. In order to erase the tragedy itself from history,
母は新たな現実を作り出したのです。
my mother created a new reality.
母がいて2人の子供たちがいる幸せだった頃の日常。
A reality of happy day-to-day life with my mother and the two children.
失われた日々を取り戻すために母は代わりとなる存在をこの世界に生み出しました。
In order to reclaim those lost days, my mother created a being to take her place in this world.
それが私でありノイやアルトだったのです。
That was me, along with Noi and Alt.
そして今母の思い描いていた理想は現実のものとなり完成されました。
And right now, my mother's ideal has become reality and is finally complete.
1年前の事件のせいで少しだけ予定は狂ってしまいましたが、
The plans did go a little bit off course because of the incident a year ago. The incident a year ago?
後のことは北条さんにお尋ねになってください。
Please ask Kojo for the details.
彼女ならきっと詳しいことをご存知のはずです。
I'm sure she knows everything you want to know.
おそらくミカエルが北条さんに打ち明けていると思います。
I think Mikhail is revealing everything to Hojo now. Wait. Isn't Mikhail that German reporter?
はい、
That's right. Then, you know Mikhail?
ええ、当然です。
Yes, of course.
なぜならミカエルは
For you see,
ノイとアルトの父親だからです。
Mikhail is Noi and Alt's father. Their father?
そうです。
That's right.
クローンではない方の、
The ones that weren't clones.
つまり数十年前に亡くなったオリジナルの方のノイとアルトの。
In other words, the original Noi and Alt who passed away decades ago. You're kidding me, right?
そのように聞こえましたか？
Is that how it sounds to you? But the Alt I know doesn't look like she's half Japanese. Even when she changed her hairstyle and her clothes, it was the same either way.
金髪や青い瞳は遺伝的には劣勢の因子なのです。
Blonde hair and blue eyes are recessive genes.
父親と母親双方が同じ因子を持っていなければ発現することはありません。
They do not express themselves unless both the mother and father possess those genes.
表面上は日本人に見えてもあの子の中には間違いなくドイツ人の血が流れています。
Though they look Japanese on the surface, the two of them unmistakably have German blood flowing through their veins.
遺伝子の半分は母初美のもの、
Half of their genes came from my mother Hatsumi,
残りの半分はミカエルのものなのです。
while the other half came from Mikhail. That can't be.
信じていただけないようですね。
It seems you do not believe me.
ではもう一つ劣勢遺伝の具体的な実例をお教えしましょう。
Let me tell you about one more example of recessive genes.
あなたが飼っている子犬、
That puppy you own.
名前は確か大五郎でしたね。
His name was Daigoro, right? Yeah, but what about him?
私は初めてあなたに会った時嘘をつきました。
You see, the first time I met you, I actually lied.
大五郎はミニチュアシュナウザーだと言いましたが、あれは間違いです。
I said that Daigoro was a miniature schnauzer, but that wasn't correct.
正確には雑種。
To be exact, he's a mixed breed.
父親は確かにミニチュアシュナウザーですが、 母親の方はビーグル犬なのです。
Doe's father is indeed a miniature Schnauzer. His mother is a beagle. Hey, wait. You're not talking about those two dogs in Hatsumi's cabin, are you?
そうです。
That's correct.
大五郎の父親と母親です。
They are Daigoro's father and mother.
メスのビーグル犬の方は VOJ に感染していました。
The female beagle was infected with VOJ.
もちろん、そのレトロウイルス、ベクターが書き換えるコードはノイやアルトのものではありません。
Naturally, the code that overwrote the vector in that retrovirus was not Noi and Alt's.
ビーグル犬自身のものです。
It was the beagle's code itself.
実験のために母がウイルスを植え付けました。
The mother was infected with the virus in order to experiment. As part of an experiment.
やがてミニチュアシュナウザーとビーグル犬は交配し、2つの卵子が受精することに。
Before long, the miniature Schnauzer and Beagle mated, and 2 eggs were fertilized.
予定では母親とそっくりの全く同一の遺伝子を持った4匹のビーグル犬が生まれてくるはずでした。
The plan was for all 4 dogs to be beagles who were genetically identical to their mother.
そして実際に 75% はその通りになりました。
はい。
つまり生まれてきた4匹のうち3匹は母親と同じ DNA を持っていたということです。
In other words, out of the 4 puppies who were born, 3 of them had the exact same DNA as their mother.
完璧なクローン。
They're perfect clones.
ラベイユでご覧になったでしょう。
You saw them at Laveu, didn't you?
あの3匹の子犬たちがそれです。
That's what those 3 puppies were.
ところが残りの1匹はそうではありませんでした。
However, the other one was not the case for the other one.
見た目はミニチュアシュナウザーそのもの。
It looked exactly like a miniature Schnauzer.
しかし DNA を調べた結果、それはシュナウザーとビーグル犬の雑種であることが判明しました。
But after analyzing his DNA, we
その現実を突きつけられて、母は激しく取り乱したようです。理論上はありえないことだからです。受精したのが3つの卵子だったとしたらまだ理解できるのですが。
Okay, where did I cut off this time? Okay. Alright, I'll try again. Let me try something to see if I can get it to stay better. Alright, I'll try this. Okay, hopefully this works better. Alright, anyway. But when we analyzed his DNA, found he was a mixed breed of a Schnauzer and a Beagle. It seems my mother was greatly perturbed when faced with this reality, for it was theoretically impossible. If there were only 3 eggs that were fertilized, it still would have made sense.
分裂したクローン胚が自らの意思を持って書き換えられた DNA を復元した。そうとしか考えられませんでした。
Separated clone eggs. One separated clone eggs. Clone fetuses. Reconstructed its DNA. Recovered its overridden DNA by its own will. That's the only possibility we can imagine.
母はすぐに 25% の失敗を闇に葬り去ろうと画策しました。
My mother immediately planned to hide the truth about the 25% chance of failure.
実験が成功するまでそれを繰り返している時間はなかったのです。
There wasn't enough time to keep repeating the experiment until it was 100% successful.
先ほども申し上げましたが、その時にはすでに公安が動き始めていました。
As I told you, that's because public safety was already beginning to move by then.
母は一刻も早く VOJ を実用化しようと焦っていたのです。
My mother was desperate to realize VOJ as quickly as possible.
そのためには失敗を研究員たちに悟られてはなりません。
Because of that, the failure was not reported to the researchers.
士気が低下するからです。
Would have decreased. 1 second. It would have demoralized them.
とはいえ、実験に直接携わっていた一部の研究員には当然知れ渡ることとなりました。
But that said, some of the researchers who directly participate in that experiment did know about it naturally.
母は彼らに強く口止めをし、さらにそのうちの一人を捕まえて雑種の子犬を捨ててくるように命じました。
My mother ordered them to keep quiet, and what's more, she had one of them ordered one of them to dispose of the mixed breed puppy.
島の外へ、できれば本土へ。
Told her to take him off the island, to the mainland if possible.
研究員は母の指示に従い、倉庫街の廃工場に子犬を捨ててきたそうです。
It seems the researcher obeyed my mother's orders and abandoned the puppy in the band factory in the warehouse district.
そしてそれを拾い上げたのが、
And the one who found him was me?
はい、
Yes. How do you know? How do you know that mixed breed was Daigoro?
私はモーターボートの事故現場であの犬を抱き上げました。
I picked up that dog at the scene of the motorboat accident.
その時に見たのです。耳の裏を。
When I did, I saw the back of his ear. Back of his ear?
ええ、
That's right. Are you saying there's something on the back of his ear?
それはご自分でお確かめになった方がよろしいかと。
I think it would be best for you to see that for yourself.
とにかくそういうことです。
At any rate, that's how it is.
大五郎はミニチュアシュナウザーに見えますが、本当はビーグル犬とのハーフ。
Daigoro looks like a miniature schnauzer, but he's actually half beagle.
母親の因子はおそらく劣勢で、表現系として外部に露出してはいないのでしょう。
His mother's genes were likely recessive and thus did not manifest on the outside.
ノイとアルトもこれと同じです。
It was the same with Noi and Alt.
ミカエルの遺伝子を確かに受け継いではいますが、それは表に現れてはいません。
Though they have most certainly inherited Mikhail's genes, they have not expressed physically.
目には見えないところに深々と刻まれているのです。
They're etched deeply within their bodies, somewhere where no one can see.
古臭い言い方かもしれませんが、母にとって2人の子供たちはミカエルとの愛の証であり結晶だったのだと思います。
This may be a rather old-fashioned term, but my mother considered those two children to be the symbol of her and Mikhail's love.
それを奪われたことによる絶望は計り知れないものがあったでしょう。
Her despair upon losing them must have been unimaginable.
そのことが原因となり、母は理性を失いました。
My mother lost her mind as a result. So that's what drove her insane, huh? The plan was born out of that insanity.
ええ、そのように解釈していただいても構いません。
Yes, you may interpret it that way if you so wish.
たとえ狂人の夢見た夢だったとしても、そこに愛があったことだけは事実ですから。
Even if it was a dream, even if it was a dream conceived by a mad woman, the one thing that we can say for sure is that it was born out of love.
そう、夢。
That's right, a dream.
私は母の夢でした。
I was my mother's dream.
実体などどこにもありません。
I don't have any real substance, so to speak.
この体は母、木関初美のものであり、私のものではないのです。
This body is my mother's, Hatsumi Kiseki's, not my own.
私は母の手によって生み出された架空の存在。
I'm a fictional being created by my mother.
空虚の幻、コピー、ただの代替品。
An empty illusion. A copy. A mere substitute.
だけど、どうか誤解しないでください。
Please, do not get the wrong idea.
私は課せられた使命を呪ったことは今までに一度もありません。
Not once I ever cursed the fate that has been entrusted to me.
むしろ幸せでした。
If anything, it made me happy.
ノイやアルトの母親になれたことが、
Happy to be Noi and Alt's mother.
二人が私のそばにいてくれたことが、
Happy to have the two of them with me.
この島には思い出があふれています。
This island is brimming with memories.
例えばこの神社、すぐそこの石畳。
For example, this very own shrine. Take the stone path, for example.
まだ幼かったノイが段差に足を取られて転んだことがあります。
When she was still young, Noi tripped on the stairs and fell.
ノイは大泣きして私の胸に飛び込んできて、
She cried her eyes out and ran into my arms.
でも抱きしめてあげたらすぐにケロッとして泣き止んで、
Once I hugged her, she quickly stopped crying.
嘘泣きだったのです。
They were crocodile tears.
つまずいたのも演技で、
Even her tripping was just an act.
ノイは私に抱きしめてもらいたくてそんなことを。
Noi went through all that just so I would hug her.
例えば隣の海岸、二人がまだ4つだった頃の夏。
Take the beach not too far from here. This happened back when the two of them, in the summer when the two of them were 4 years old.
波打ち際で水遊びをしていたら、アルトが突然着ていたものを脱ぎ出しました。
While she was playing by the waves, Alt suddenly took off everything she was wearing.
手のひらには2つの人で、青にオレンジの模様が入っていました。
She held 2 starfish in her hands, ones with blue and orange patterns on them.
アルトはそれをペタリと胸に当て、こう言いました。
Alt pressed them to her chest and said this.
ニキビー、ニキビーって。
Bikini, bikini.
本当はビキニのことなんですけどね。
Oh, sorry, Nikini. Although she actually meant bikini.
でもアルトはニキビーって何度も何度も繰り返して大はしゃぎして、
Alt just kept saying that over and over again, having the time of her life.
私思わず吹き出してしまいました。
I couldn't help but laugh.
その様子がとってもおかしくて、
It was such a hilarious sight.
帰ったらアルトの胸の周りは真っ赤に腫れ上がっていました。
When we got home, Alt's chest had gotten all swollen.
痛くないのって聞いたら 痛くないって答えるんです。
I asked her if it hurt. She said no.
そしてまたゲラゲラと笑うんです。
And then she giggled again.
おっぱいがお星様になっちゃったって言って。
She said, my breasts have become stars.
港ではノイがいろんないたずらをしてくれました。
By the harbor, Noe would perform all sorts of pranks.
本人に悪気はなかったみたいなんですけどね。
It seemed like she didn't mean anything bad by them.
水揚げされた魚。
Sorry, one sec. For example, fish.
カゴいっぱいに詰め込まれた魚を見て、ノイは一言こう言いました。
When she saw a bunch of fish, crammed together in a cage, Noe said this.
かわいそうって。
Poor things.
そう言ったかと思うと、いきなり走り出してカゴをひっくり返したのです。
And right as she said that, she suddenly ran off and flipped the cages over
海に向かって。
into the ocean.
取れたての魚たちはまだ生きていて、海中に飛び込むと勢いよく逃げていきました。
The fish were still alive and fled, jumping up and down in the water.
ノイを叱りつける漁師さん。
The fisherman scolded Noe.
その漁師さんに向かってノイは平然とこう言ってのけました。
And Noe just looked at them with a straight face and said,
生き物を殺しちゃダメなんだよ。
You can't kill living creatures.
さすがの漁師さんもそれ以上は何も言わず、ただ苦笑いを浮かべるだけでした。
Even the fisherman couldn't say anything to that and just smiled awkwardly.
ある日の夜、アルトが突然行方不明になったことがあります。
One night, Alt suddenly went missing.
まだ8歳になったばかりの頃です。
This was back when she was 8.
島民の方々にも協力してもらって島中の捜索が始まりました。
We started searching the islands with the help of the islanders.
でもいくら探してもどこにもいなくて、
But we couldn't find her no matter how hard we looked.
結局見つかったのは明け方近くになってからでした。
Eventually, we found her when it was almost dawn.
どこにいたと思います？
Where do you think she was?
灯台です。
The lighthouse.
どんな方法を使ったのかわかりませんが、アルトは灯台のてっぺんによじ登っていたのです。
I don't know how in the world she did it, but Alt managed to climb up to the top of the lighthouse.
手のひらを広げ、腕をまっすぐ空へと伸ばして懸命に何かをつかみ取ろうとしていました。
She spread her hands out, reached her arms up towards the sky, and desperately tried to grab onto whatever she could.
そんなところで何やってるの？早く降りてきなさい。私は言いました。
I shouted at her, saying, What are you doing up there? Get down now!
もうちょっとだけ、もう少しで手が届きそうな気がするの。
And then she said, Just a little more, just a little longer. I'm so close to reaching the top.
アルトは空に目を向けたまま声だけを発しました。
She shouted that, keeping her eyes focused on the sky.
何を捕まえようとしているの？私は尋ねました。
Oh, sorry. Alt said, Just a little more, and I think I can reach it. Then I asked her, What are you trying to reach?
アルトの答えはこうでした。今を。
And Alt's answer was, The present.
その時には意味が分かりませんでしたが、後になってから気づきました。
I didn't understand what she meant by it back then. But in hindsight, I did.
アルトは多分時間を止めようとしていたのだと思います。
I think Alt was trying to stop time.
物体の速度が高速に近づけば近づくほど時間の進み方は遅くなり、
Closer an object speed gets to the speed of light, the slower the advancement of time becomes.
やがてそれが高速に達した瞬間、時は止まる。私が教えた言葉です。アルトはその言葉から独特の発想をしたのでしょう。光を捕まえることができれば時を止めることもできると。
Again? Seriously? Alright. I think Alt was trying to stop time. The closer an object approaches the speed of light, the slower time advances. Eventually, once you reach the speed of light, time stops. That's what I once taught her. It seems she got some funny ideas in her head from that. She believed that if she could grab light, then she could stop time.
アルタは夜空に向かって懸命に手を伸ばし、星の光をつかみ取ろうとしていたのです。
I was reaching as hard as she could towards the night sky, trying to grab a star.
数え上げたらキリがありません。
I could keep going on about this forever.
思い出の数はそれこそ星の数ほどあり、島のあちこちに散らばって光り輝いています。
I have as many memories of them as I do stars in the sky, and they shine in every part of this island much like the stars themselves do.
もしかしたらそれはどこにでもあるようなありふれた日常だったのかもしれません。
Perhaps it's the sort of ordinary day-to-day life you can find just about anywhere.
けれど私にとってはかけがえのない思い出です。
But they're irreplaceable memories for me.
二人と過ごした15年間はその一秒一秒が尊い瞬間であり、守るべき刹那だったのです。
Every single moment of those 15 years I spent with them deserves to be protected.
草原の丘で花を摘んだこと、
Such as how we made flower crowns together on the hill.
その花で冠を作りお姫様ごっこをしたこと。
They wore them and pretended to be princesses.
二人は王子様とお姫様の役を代わる代わる演じて遊んでいました。
They would play alternating the role of the prince and the princess.
森の中では鳥のさえずりに合わせて歌を歌い、
They would sing in concert with the birds chirping in the woods.
果樹園に忍び込んでは時計草の実をかじり、
They would sneak into the orchards and eat some passion fruits.
渚では波と戯れ、港では野良猫たちとじゃれ合い、
They would play with the waves by the shore and fool around with stray cats by the harbor.
とにかく一日中二人は島の中を跳ねるように駆けずり回っていました。
In any case, they would spend all day running around the island.
そして夜、
And at night,
辺りが闇に包まれると遊び疲れた二人は寄り添うようにして眠るのです。
once night came, the two of them, once it all grew dark, the two of them, finally tired from playing, would nestle up to each other and fall asleep.
けれどそれもほんの 1,2 時間のこと。
It only lasted an hour or two.
いつだってそうでした。
It was always like that.
二人は示し合わせたかのようにムクムクと起き上がり、私のベッドの中へと潜り込んでくるのです。
They would get up as though they'd already planned on it ahead of time and sneak into my bed.
私の体を奪い合うようにぎゅっとしがみついてくる。
hugging me from both sides, if trying to steal my body.
鼻先をこすりつけ、貪るように甘えてくる。
They would rub their nose against me like dogs wanting to be pet.
それが そのひとときが
Those times
私にとっては何にも代え難い喜びでした。
brought me more joy than anything I've ever known.
二人の甘い匂いが、ぬくもりが、吐息が、ママとつぶやく小さな声が、
Sweet smell they gave off, their warmth, their breath, their tiny little voices that called me mommy.
嬉しくて
It overjoyed me.
愛しくて愛しくて
So precious.
ただ愛しくて
More precious than anything I've known.
どうしようもないほど
In every single aspect.
苦しいほどに私は二人を愛していて
I love the two of them so much, it's maddening.
母の思い描いた理想は確かにそこにありました。
The ideal my mother had dreamed of was indeed there.
けれどそれは母の理想であると同時に私の理想でもあったのです。
But while it was my mother's ideal, it was also my own ideal as well.
母の夢見た夢は現実のものとなり、そうして再現された夢そのものが再び母と同じ夢を見たということです。
For the dream my mother had created to become a reality and replicated meant that I became holding the same dream as well.
フラクタルな相似形。部分は全体を表し、全体は部分を表す。
Fractal similarity. The part represents the whole, and the whole represents the parts.
それらの立場は容易に逆転します。
Those positions are easily reversed.
因果関係などというものは人間が便宜的に考え出した架空の概念に過ぎません。
Causality is nothing more than a fictional concept conceived for the convenience of humans.
人は時間を逆行することができないので A という要因が B という現象を生み出したのだと錯覚しているだけなのです。
Since humans can't go back in time, they're simply under the illusion that factor A creates phenomenon B.
でも本当はそうではありません。
But in truth, that's not how it is.
原因と結果、過程と目的はどちらが先でどちらが後というようなものではなく、
It's not when it comes to cause and effect or process and objective. It's not about which of them comes first and which of them comes second.
それらは一つにまとまった集合で、二項の要素は常に交換可能なものなのです。
By bringing the two of them together, it's possible to make them interchangeable. Huh?
再現された夢の中では悪夢も繰り返すということですよ。
What I'm saying is that a nightmare can repeat itself in a recreated dream.
私たちの幸せは再び破壊されたのです。
Our happiness was destroyed once again.
今からちょうど1年前、
Exactly 1 year ago.
あの男の手によって無残に叩き壊されたのです。
Our happiness was brutally destroyed by that man. What happened a year ago? Who's this man you're talking about?
それはあなたが誰よりもよく知っているはずです。
You should know that better than anyone else. Me?
ええ、あなたが。
Yes, you.
だって覚えてないんでしょ、去年のこと。
I mean, you don't remember what happened last year, do you?
とにかく4時間待って。
Just wait 4 hours.
そうすれば全部思い出すはずだから。
After that, you should remember everything. Suddenly, I get a headache. Suddenly, I get dizzy. My vision blurs, and color fades from my surroundings. It's followed immediately by an unbearably painful headache. It almost feels as though there's a stake being driven right into my brain. I scowl on instinct. I squeeze my fingers against my temples. I shake my head over and over, trying to keep my consciousness from fading. Effie must have knows what is happening to me. But she just keeps going on as though nothing had happened.
私に残された時間はあとわずかです。
I don't have much time left.
のんびりとしている余裕などありませんでした。
I can't afford to just be taking it easy.
ことは早急に進める必要があったのです。
Things must be carried out fast and... Wait, hold on. I gnash my teeth as I desperately muster my voice. Why are you in such a hurry?
テロメアというものをご存知でしょうか。
Are you aware of what telomeres are?
染色体の両端にある塩基配列です。
They're base sequences at both ends of a chromosome.
このテロメアという部分は細胞分裂のたびに短くなっていきます。
These telomeres grow shorter via every time cells divide.
やがてそれが限界に達すると、それ以上新しい細胞は作れなくなり、肉体は滅び去っていくことになります。
Eventually, once they reach their limit, no more new cells can be created, causing the body to destroy itself.
ここで大事なことが一つ。
There's one important aspect about this.
クローンに受け継がれるテロメアは細胞核移植を行った当時のドナーのそれと全く同じ長さをしているということ。
Telomeres that a clone inherits are the exact same length as those of their...
私のクローン胚が作り出された時、母は44歳でした。つまり私の肉体は見た目には26歳のようであっても、細胞の年齢は70を超えているということです。私はもう長くは生きられないでしょう。タイムリミットは目前にまで迫っています。
Seems the mic cut out again. I gotta go through this again. Do you know what telomeres are? They're base sequences at the end of chromosomes. These telomeres grow shorter every time cells divide. Eventually they reach their limit, and once that happens, no more new cells can be created, leading to the body destroying itself. There's one important thing to keep in mind here. That the telomeres a clone inherits have the same length as the cells taken from their donor at the time they were taken. When I was created, my mother was 44 years old. So in other words, while my body looks 26 years old, my cells are over 70 years old. I probably don't have much longer to live. My time limit's growing closer and closer. At some point, the pain vanishes from my head, leaving only, blurry senses behind. I have to take back what I lost as soon as possible. I hear Effie speaking.
幸せだったあの頃、安らぎに満ちていた日々を。
I have to get back those happy times, those days that knew nothing but peace. It almost feels as though my ears are full of water.
かけがえのない記憶を。光り輝いていた瞬間を。
To get back those irreplaceable memories. Those shining recollections. Everything is blurry. I can't focus on anything.
そして二度と悲劇が繰り返されないように。
And I also have to ensure that the tragedy never repeats itself. It almost feels as though I'm also looking at this through the underwater.
夢が永遠に続いていくことを願って。
I pray that the dream continues forever. Being freed from the chains of gravity, heaven and earth, the boundaries between heaven and earth are lost to me.
私が母の計画に加わったのはだからです。
That's probably why I was added to my mother's plan.
私は永遠に続く夢の再現を夢見ていたのです。
It's like a dream. It's like a dream of the reproduction. This endless dream. Dream. The sound of the word dream brings a dream to my mind. Lines of code that are seemingly unconnected rush through my head. I can't find any meaning in them. Fragments of cutout scenery dizzyingly pass by my eyes, as if though I were watching an old montage film. They wander through my blurry consciousness. But there is one thing that I understand in that. It's been 4 hours since I took that drug. It seems I'm getting back my lost memories.
天城さん、 最後に一つだけお願いがあります。
Mr. Amagi, I have one last favor to ask of you. Effie says then, suddenly leans against me. She slides up against my chest and wraps her arms around my back. Still lost in a sea of confusion, there's nothing I can do. It takes everything I can do just to move my arms. What do you want?
もう叶いました。
It's already been done.
こうして欲しかったんです。
This is what I wanted. Why?
あなたの欲望だからです。
Because it's what you wanted.
これがあなたの求めていたもの。そうでしょう。
This is what you were looking for, wasn't it? I quickly understand what she's getting at. A bewitching sweet smell is wafting from Effie's body. From her smooth hair, her slender neck, and her moist skin. It's the smell of lavender. That's right, that's why I wanted to check. I wanted to check if she really was the one who was behind the smell. And with that, my wish has been fulfilled. I know the answer. Effie really was the one behind all the murders. I let go of Effie and reluctantly walk off. Step back, sorry. Although we're apart, the sensation of a warm breath still lingers in my chest.
不思議に思われましたか？いきなり抱きしめたりして。
Don't you find it strange that I just suddenly embraced you like that?
きっと困惑されてるんでしょうね。
I'm sure you must be utterly confused.
天城さんは先ほど私の行動が支離滅裂だとおっしゃいました。
Earlier, you said that my actions were incomprehensible.
でももう一度よく考えてみてください。
Please think about it carefully again.
どこかワンピース欠けていませんか？
Aren't you missing a piece?
その一かけらを埋め込めば私の行動は理解できるはずです。
If you fill in that one piece, then you should be able to understand my actions.
すべては愛のために。
Everything is for love.
母に対する愛、娘への愛、それからもう一つの愛のために。
For my love for my mother, my love for my daughters, and one other love. Effie says those words and quietly leaves. I silently watch her leave from behind without saying a word. She doesn't try to run or hide. She's resolved herself. Drops that seeped into my chest tell me that. It was right after that I got my memories back. It happened in an instant. I saw it all in a moment. I understood everything in a moment. About what happened 1 year ago on this island in this town. And when faced with that reality, I fall into the depths of despair. I head towards the harbor without even realizing it. When I first came here today, I found this site nostalgic. In hindsight, I understand now is because there was some sort of, so I was recalling a sort of primordial scenery. A mere recollection. This isn't the first time I've been to this island. I've actually been here just once before. The memories of that time are etched deeply into this harbor. Perhaps I went here in order to retrace those memories. Last summer. I came to this remote island with absolutely nothing to see on it, on a pure whim. Oh, it wasn't my whim we're talking here. It was my employee's whim. That girl dragged me along to this island. Though we came here together, we barely did anything together. We had separate rooms at the inn, too. We only ever really saw each other for breakfast and dinner. Then, on the third morning after my arrival on this island, my companion said she was going to go take some shots of the abandoned school and left the inn. I'd already finished combing the island over the last 2 days. The only real tourist spot there was the beach. The rest was just full of peaceful, idyllic landscapes that you find in all sorts of desert, shabby, poor villages. Most of the world might have found that wonderful. But for me, who was too used to city life, this island was just so utterly boring. On that day, I spent the day from sunrise to sunset, in my room reading a book. I only brought one book with me. Once I'd finished reading it, I had nothing left to do. Completely bored, I started wandering around randomly. It was twilight. By tracing the fading sunlight, I arrived at a small gulf. It was the harbor. I casually sat down on one of the breakwaters. There was no one around. Just some fishermen on the opposite shore who were drinking booze after catching some fish. The sky was was dyed vermilion. I looked down at my feet. A school of fish were passing by in an unbroken formation. Some time passed after that. When I looked up, I saw a girl next to the breakwater. She was sitting at the edge of the seawall, just like me. She held a fishing rod in both hands and was quietly dangling a fishing line. She had trace of youth still left in her features, indicating she was probably a middle schooler or so. Her long black hair rustled in the sea breeze. She would look like the sort of pure and innocent girl you often heard about. Though, if you put it in a bad way, put it in a good way, she was a pure and innocent girl. Put in a bad way, she was just your average country bumpkin. She was fishing in the ocean all by herself. That in itself wasn't exactly a sight you saw every day, but neither was anything particularly to take notice of either. I looked away from the girl and stared at the ocean. The waves were quiet. The ocean was curved with small curves and periodic rhythms that happened over and over again. The golden evening sun was brushing against the harbor. The waves brushing on the harbor. I could hear the sound of cicadas and calls of tofu vendors. Suddenly, I noticed something move out of the corner of my eye. I could tell the girl was looking at me. I turned towards the girl. The girl frankly looked back towards the looked back towards her looked back where she was staring, and retrained her grip around the fishing rod over and over again. What happened afterwards was the same as before. The girl wore a poker face like nothing had happened, just staring at the edge of the fishing line. The fishing line had a floater tied to it that drifted along with the waves. It kept coming back and forth. I turned back towards the front. A fish jumped out from over by the gulf, almost as if they were mocking the girl. It shot a spray of water up with it. The scent of the beach rode on the wind and tickled my nose. I took a deep breath, seeped into all my cells. Which tickled me as if though grazing the ancient memories that were carved into my genes. Before long, I felt someone staring at me again. I turned back. The girl looked away again. This kept happening over and over. Perhaps she didn't see many outsiders in this island. Though we were too far away to talk, it was too much of a pain in the ass to move. I just stared where I was and spoke up. Hey! The girl didn't answer. Her ears switched, but she didn't so much as look my way. Even though she kept glancing my way over and over again just now. You live on this island? I ignored her and kept talking. It was 5 minutes later that she nodded. Are you always fishing around here? The next time took 10 seconds. She showed a reaction after 10 seconds. This time she shook her head. Then where? 1, 2, 3.
初めてなの。
It's my first time. Or first time. Those words became a first to me as well. The first time I heard her speak. Oh, you mean your first time fishing? Yeah.
私は初めて。
It's my first time.
お姉ちゃんは何度かしたことがあるみたいだけど。
It seems my sister's done it a lot. What's your name?
お姉ちゃんの？
My sister's name? No, yours.
私はアルト。
I'm Alt.
キゼキアルト。
Alt Kizeki.
それが私の名前。
That's my name. Suddenly, I hear a faint sound. Sound of a shoe stepping on sand on the road. Broken out of my reverie, I immediately returned to reality. Someone was here. Someone was standing behind me. They weren't close. They were about 30 meters away. I could easily tell that just by listening. I kept facing forward as I took stock of my surroundings. Next thing I heard was the sound of metal chafing. The sound of a bullet being loaded into its chamber. It wasn't a handgun. It was probably a submachine gun. Whoops. Sorry about that. Accidentally unplugged my computer for a second there. I hear bullets bursting. I kick off the ground as soon as I hear that. I dance through the air. I jump forward as though I'm skating on thin air. There's a rusted metal container there. I hide behind it and quickly pull out my block. I poke my head out from behind the container to get a look at my enemy. But a moment later, the sound of rapid fire grazed my ears. The bullets grazed off part of the edge of the container. Damn it! There's just one thing to understand. It seems this enemy is seriously trying to kill me. Who is it? Who the hell is it? Who's there? Why are you attacking me? I remember what Effie said.
ではあなたを殺しましょうか。
And why don't I kill you? No way! That can't be it! Shit! Stars above me almost look like they're about to fall down. See? They did fall down. The sea's that way. It's black like oil. Small pieces of the container are lying at my feet. Footsteps are approaching. My enemy's carrying an Uzi. I could tell that when I caught a glimpse at them. On the other hand, I've got a customized Glock 22. I've only got one customized Glock 22. I've got 15 shocks and no extra magazines. If this person gets any closer, I'll be in some deep shit. Anyway, I have to stop the enemy. I lean out from the container and fire a warning shot. The enemy is undaunted and shows no signs of being phased. I leap into the shadow of into the container on the other side while firing at me. I still don't know who they are. Hold on a second. Dressed in a combat uniform balaclava, making it impossible to tell even if they're a man or a woman. Sucks. What do I do? Look out from the container again. Bullets graze my cheek. Sparks fly from the container. Bullets rain down on me. The enemy isn't showing even a single opening. I wait until there's a gap between gunshots to launch my counterattack. Ah, damn it! What the hell is this guy? Wasting bullets isn't going to get me anywhere. I need to figure a plan. I fired 13 shots already. I only have 2 left. I've wasted 13 shots. On the other hand, the enemy... I have no clue. I haven't been keeping track of them. I was hoping I could get my enemy to waste all their bullets. My hopes have been dashed. It seems my enemy is reloading from behind the container. I have no way of knowing how many spare magazines they have. My Glock only has 2 shots left. And naturally, I can't afford to waste all my bullets. And what should I do? Alright, surrender, run, wait, or attack. Okay, running this. I could run to the ocean. The ocean's not that far from here. What's more, it's dark. I might be able to get away if I flee into the ocean. In this situation, it doesn't seem like I have many other options. I retrain my hand around the grip of my gun. I'll fire my 2 remaining shots and use that chance to jump into the ocean. A moment later, freeze. I hear a familiar voice. I keep my back against the container as I glance out. Himuro! Standing there is Kyoko Himuro. She's my only employee at my detective agency, and she's the one who dragged me to this island a year ago. But what's Himuro doing in a place like this? I'm still hiding behind the container. I can talk to her once I get out. Why? What's Himuro doing here? Himuro's pointing a gun at the back of the enemy's head. Her fingers seem to be shaking slightly. Honestly, it's making me nervous. The enemy is raising their hands in a sign of surrender. They've already dropped their Uzi, currently lying at their feet. The enemy's face is covered. I still can't make out their identity. I breathe a sigh of relief. Oops. I don't know what Himuro's doing here, but in any case, looks like the tables have turned. I leap out from behind the container, keep my Glock leveled. Himuro looks my way and nods confidently. It almost seems like he's trying to say, "Don't worry, you're safe now." But the enemy doesn't let that chance slide. It happens in just a second. Himuro was restrained before I even know what happened. The enemy showed no signs of counterattacking or resistance. Acting as though this is all just another day of business for them. Let her go. I growl as I point the sights of my Glock at the enemy's forehead. The enemy doesn't budge. They don't seem the least bit perturbed. I can't tell with the look on their faces because they're balaclava, but I can tell they're extremely calm. It's almost like a shadow has, it almost looks as though a shadow has restrained Himuro. Yeah, Himuro. There's not a single hint of warmth or emotion coming from them. The shadow is merging with the darkness. All the darkness surrounding me looks as though it's my enemy. The enemy's had stolen him. It's pointing the gun right at her temple. What are you after me for? The enemy doesn't answer. They're keeping their lips sealed, it seems. The silent standoff continues for a while. I plan to pull the trigger as soon as the enemy takes their gun away from Himuro's head. I'm sure the enemy is thinking the same thing. They'll put a hole in Himuro's temple if I so much as move a finger. They won't hesitate. Their uncanny bearing and confident way of holding the gun tells me all of that. Damn it. Sweat drips down my forehead. Just then I hear a voice. I glance towards it for a second to see an islander on the opposite shore. They're pointing to us and saying something. And maybe they came when they heard the gunfire. There's about 4 or 5 of them. Most of them were out fishing. Seems only the people who are still here came to check. Seems the enemies noticed that too. They slowly back off, using Himuro as a shield. I raise my gun. I keep a constant distance between the enemy and me as I follow them. Don't think you're gonna get away. Suddenly, it almost seems as though the enemy laughs. Sorry, smiles. I can tell from the way that the area below their eyes is curving behind their balaclava. I look behind the enemy. There's a sedan parked there. An old-fashioned loading sedan, it seems. Illuminated by the city light, by the town's lights, it stands out in the darkness like a white shadow. Damn it. Should I shoot? If I fire, there's no doubt I'll be able to put a hole in my enemy's head. It's also possible that the enemy will pull the trigger before the bullet hits them. Eventually, the enemy backs into the car. And right after that... You're in my way! Move! After that split-second conversation... I'm sorry, I say that all in a split second. That's all the time the enemy needs. I start the engine. The exhaust roars. Tires screech against the ground as the sedan races away from the harbor. It heads off towards the paved roads. Its yellow taillights blink over and over. With that last mocking wink, the enemy fades into the darkness. Thanks, you really saved me there. Wait, did you seriously think I would say that? Why'd you let your guard down back then?
注意なんてそらしてないわ。
I did no such thing.
ただ小次郎に向かってうなずいてみせただけで。
I was just nodding at you, that's all. You didn't have to go through all that trouble.
そんなこと言ったってあの状態で反撃してくるとは思えなかったもの。
You say that, but I had no idea the guy was gonna counterattack. Are you blind? The enemy was clearly waiting for whatever chance they could get in order to counterattack.
そうだった？
Really? Really?
ねえ、そんなことよりもなんで小次郎がこの島にいるの？
Look, more importantly, what are you doing on this island, Kojiro? I'm utterly exasperated by those words. I heave a sigh and look towards the opposite shore. We'll talk later. Let's take this somewhere else.
どうして？
Why? Don't you see all those islanders looking at us? See all those islanders coming our way? We need to give them the slip before they give us any uncomfortable questions. I start walking with those words.
待ってよ、ウージーはどうするの？
Wait, what do we do about the Uzi? Just throw it in the ocean.
ちょうどいいわ。
Perfect.
私の銃、あの男に取られちゃったし。
That man did take my gun after all. Fine, do what you want. Himuro runs up to the Uzi the enemy left behind and picks it up before coming back.
で、どこに行くつもりなの？
So where are you planning on going? Somewhere where there's no one around.
人が来ないようなところ？
Somewhere with no one around?
いくらなんでもここはないんじゃないの？
Hey, look, I get what you're saying, but doesn't this feel a little wrong to you? Why's that?
だってここ森の中じゃない。
Because we're in the middle of the woods. That's right. No one's ever gonna come here, will they?
そりゃそうだけど。
I mean, sure, I guess not, but still. What, you got a problem with this or something?
あるわよ。
Damn straight I do. What's that?
蚊が多い。
There's too many mosquitoes.
さっきから体中刺されまくって痒くってしょうがないわ。
You know how itchy I am because of how much they've been biting me? Really? They haven't bitten me at all.
そんな厚着してるからでしょ。
It's because you're wearing all those thick clothes, that's why. They're exactly for times like these.
嘘ばっかり。ただのカッコつけでしょ。
Oh, you are so full of shit and we both know it. You're just trying to look cool, aren't you?
いつも暑さの中でヒーヒー言ってるくせに。
This coming from the guy who's always bitching and moaning whenever it gets hot. I do no such thing. I grumble, I don't bitch and moan.
同じじゃな。
The same thing either way.
私が事務所にエアコンつけたのだってそのためなんだからね。
That's the whole reason I put an AC in the agency to begin with.
暑さに参ってグダグダになってる小次郎の姿があまりにも不憫だったから。
It was just so pathetic seeing you melting in the heat like that. Whoa, now, don't talk like you put it in all by yourself. We wrote it off as an expense, in case you remember.
うわー、やだやだ、またお金の話だ。
Oh boy, here we go. You bitching about money again? Money is important. Look. And besides, you waste too much of our money anyway. If I remember right, you wrote off all our travel fees when we went on this trip last year as a bonus expense too, didn't you?
当たり前じゃない。
But of course.
従業員の慰安旅行だったんだから。
Of course, it was all a business trip after all. Look, a pleasure trip is not a business trip. Business trip is meant to be for peace and comfort. I got no peace and I got no comfort on that when I came to this island. In other words, it was all a waste.
私は従業員のって言ったでしょ。
I never said it was for your benefit. No, I think no, they have company trips in other countries too. I'm not sure it's quite as prevalent as it is in Japan, but they definitely do have company retreats. Anyway, continuing.
雇用者が癒されまいとキュアされまいと知ったこっちゃないわ。
I don't give a damn where my employer gets any peace and gets any nice gets any relaxation. You little.
第一、経費って言うけどね、この島に来るのにそんなにお金はかかってないのよ。
And you keep bitching and moaning about expenses, but it didn't even cost that much to come to this island.
慰安旅行っていうよりもいい安旅行って感じ。チープトリップだったの。
It was all just a cheap trip. Not bad for getting some peace and quiet.
私がこの島を選んだ理由はたった一つ。値段が安かったから。
The only reason I chose this island is because it's cheap as hell. Don't give me that BS. You came here to explore ruins and watch birds, didn't you? Didn't you tell me that there was an unusual abandoned school here and there were extremely rare birds around the area? That's why I didn't go around with you. Because I'm not interested in that shit. I shoot Himuro a glare. But Himuro pays me no heed.
あれ？ちょっと待って。
Wait. Hold on.
どうしてそんなこと知ってるの？
How do you know that? Know what?
今言ったことよ。
What you just said.
小次郎今までずっとこの島に来たことを忘れてたじゃない。
Up until now, you completely forgot that you came to this island.
私が何度言っても旅行なんて行ってない。沖志島なんて知らない。 その一点張りで。
No matter how many times I brought it up, you said that you went on no such trip and that you'd never been to Okishi Island. Oh, right. I guess I did. But I just remembered it.
どういうこと？
What do you mean?
そもそもなんで小次郎はこの島に？
What are you doing on this island to begin with? It's a long story.
時間ならたっぷりあるわ。どうして？私の全身の血が蚊に吸われちゃうかもしれないから？ 協力っていきなり言われても、話を聞かないことにはどうにも動きようがないわ。ね、なんで小次郎は狙われてたの？
Okay, I'll start again. Oh, I've got plenty of time. Well, I don't. Why? You worry that the mosquitoes are going to drain all the blood from my body? I smile awkwardly, then speak quietly. No, because there's something I gotta do. Will you help me out? Whoa, hey, hold on a second. How am I supposed to help if I don't know what we're up against? Hey, why was that guy after you anyway? Alright. Now keep this short. I have several... But first things first, I have several questions for you. First, to repeat your own question right back at you, what are you doing on this island?
なぜって知らなかったわけ？
What, you mean you don't know? Yeah.
あんなに何度も言ったのに。
Even after all the times I told you? Told me what?
言ったじゃない、有給休暇の申請した時に。
I requested for a paid vacation, don't you remember? Oh yeah, I guess I do think you... I guess you did say something like that now I think about it. Well, you said you were going off to a... All you said was you were going to some southern island.
ちゃんと教えたわ。
No, I made sure to tell you.
去年小次郎と一緒に行った島にもう一度行ってくるって。
I said I was going back to the island we went to last year.
まあ、もっとも小次郎はあの時ちんぷんかんぷんみたいな顔してたけどね。
No, that said, I guess you did look like you had no clue I was gone about when I said that.
一緒に行った島？なんだそりゃ。俺は島になんて行った覚えはないぞっていうような顔。口には出さなかったけど、多分そんな風に思ってたんじゃないの？確かにそれもないことはないけど、でも趣味のためだけじゃないわ。どっちかっていうと、この島に伝わる不思議な風習を再調査すること。それがこの島を訪れた主な目的。
That's why I came to this island.
去年来た時に気になってたから。
So I was curious about those traditions last year.
記憶を取り戻したんだったら言わなくてもわかるわよね。
I don't need to tell you that now that you've gotten your memories back, right?
その風習が何なのか。
What those traditions are. Again? Seriously? The mic cut out again? Ugh. Fine. Let's go back and do it. So what you're saying is you came here as a tourist? Well, I was definitely part of it. It wasn't just for my own interests. If I had to say what it was in order to reinvestigate the strange traditions on this island. That's the main reason I came to this island. Because they were bugging me ever since I came here last year. Now you got your memories back, I don't need to tell you what they are, right? Those traditions, I mean. I do indeed know those strange traditions. So I gave her a little nod. I see, I get it. Next question is the one from just now. It's about just before. What were you doing at that harbor?
銃声が聞こえたからよ。
I came because I heard the gunfire.
行ってみたら2人の人間が撃ち合いしているのが見えて、
When I went there, I saw two people shooting at each other.
片方が小次郎だってことはすぐに分かったわ。
It didn't take me long to realize that one of them was you.
なんでこの島にいるのかは分からなかったけどね。
Though I had no idea what you were doing on this island.
今も分からないし。
And I still don't know.
でもとにかく助けなきゃって思って。
But whatever the case, I knew I had to help you.
ねえ、さっきから気になってたんだけど、全然感謝してないでしょ。
By the way, it's been bugging me for a while now. Would it kill you to thank me?
グロックの弾何発残ってるの？
How many shots do you have left in your Glock? 2.
じゃあ私が行かなかったら死んでたわね。
Oh, then you would have died if I hadn't come along, wouldn't you? Who can say?
たく素直じゃないんだから。
Sheesh, would a bit of honesty kill you either?
まあいいわ。他に聞きたいことは？
Fine, whatever. What else did you want to ask? Do you know a girl named... Himuro shakes her head.
誰なのそれ？
Who the heck's that? No, if you don't know her, it's fine.
さっき襲われたことと関係が？
Does that have something to do with that attacker from before? Probably.
多分って何よ？
What do you mean, probably? I mean, I can't say for sure so long as I don't know who our enemy was. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot to ask you something. The enemy was a man, right?
ええ、それは間違いないわ。
Yes, I'm sure of that.
あんなにがっしりとした体格をしてる女性なんているわけないもの。
There's no woman I know out there who's built like that. I see. That's it for my questions then. I'd like to return to the mission. That's alright with you.
ちょっと待ってよ。
Wait, hold on.
さっき要点だけ教えるって言わなかった？
Didn't you say you'd give me a summary? You want to know about it?
だから知らなきゃ動きようがないってば。
Like I said, I can't help you if I don't know what we're up against.
一体何があったっていうのよ。
So what's going on here? Alright, fine, I'll tell you. Long story short, there's 4 points. 1. Bad guys are playing bad things. 2. There's a girl they're trying to sacrifice part of their plans. 3. I'm trying to stop that. 4. Someone tried to kill me for trying to stop them.
え？まさかそれで終わり？
Huh? Seriously? That's it? I already told you I don't have time.
悪いやつって誰なのよ。悪いことって何なのよ。
Who are these bad guys? What are these bad things they're doing? There's no need for you to get involved in all that. I'll take care of it myself. Yes, maybe I should start doing my recaps like that. What you should be doing now, is finding the girl and that guy who tried to kill me.
4番目はわかるわ。あの覆面をしてた男ね。
The guy I get, it's that guy in the balaclava, right? Yeah.
2番目は？
And what's the girl? You don't know?
ああ、そっか。さっき小次郎が言ってた木関アルトって女の子。
Oh, I get it. She must be that Alkizeki you were talking about. Or she might have turned into Noi.
は
Sorry, what? Look, just do as I say, okay? This is your boss's orders.
あ嫌な言い方。
Oh, great. Look what a dictator we got here. I ignore Himuro and keep talking. So what are the trademarks of that guy? There was the answer is that car. That old beat-up sedan. He must be near wherever it's parked.
女の子は
And the girl? This. I show Himuro on my cell phone screen. Memorize, sir?
ええ
Yes. Good. Let's get to work. Let's split up. I'll take the eastern end side of the island while you take the western side.
了解。
Roger that. Himuro's long ponytail sways from side to side as she rushes into the woods. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, back. So, after thinking it through, I think I'm gonna go for about another half hour in this stream. I was considering stopping here, but there's probably a better stopping point about half an hour, so we're gonna keep going until we reach it. Alright, now let's go to the school. The abandoned school in the center of the island. This place isn't exactly in the west or the east side, so Himuro may have overlooked it. So I decided to investigate the school just to be safe. And that choice turned out to be correct. I didn't have to investigate at all. All it took was a single look. After all, that thing was parked right by the school, right in the school gate. It's that sedan that the enemy was riding in, no doubt about it. The car is not hidden, nor is it stuck in a bush or anything. It's like they weren't even trying to hide it. Almost as though the enemy is taunting me to come and attack them. Or maybe this is a trap. No one's here. No one's in the car. I've touched the hood. It's gone completely cold. They must have gotten here a while back. The doors are locked. The steering wheel, the keys have been left in the ignition. ways. Alright, sorry, continuing. I checked the inside of the car. This thing isn't gonna blow up the second I open the door, is it? Oh wait, sorry, no, I messed up. The door is not locked. Sorry, the doors are not locked. Blech, I had a brain fart moment there. Total brain fart, sorry about that. I slowly open the door to make sure if there's a trap or not. And naturally, nothing happens. I search the inside using my pen light. I don't find any clues. And just then... Who's there? I instantly turn around and raise my Glock.
待っ
Hold it!
た私よ私
It's me! Oh, it's just you, Himuro. I take my finger off the trigger and lower the gun. Sheesh, were you trying to kill me? So that's the girl who's still pointing her Uzi at me.
ごめんなさい
Whoops, sorry about that. Himuro lowers her Uzi. She turns back on the safety and sticks in the back of her shorts. Did you find alt?
ダメ収穫はゼロ
Nope. Got no. Turned up nothing.
お祭りの会場にも行ってみたんだけど画像の女の子らしき人物はどこにもいなかったわ
I checked the festival grounds, but I didn't see anyone who looked like the girl in the picture. Did you try asking the islanders?
ええ全員に聞いたわけじゃないけど
Yeah, not all of them though.
20人ぐらいかな
About 20, I guess? And what'd they say?
誰も知らないって
No one knew. I see.
でももう一人の方は見つかったみたいじゃない
It seems you found the other one, huh? Himuro looks at the sedan. Well, I haven't found them yet. I don't even know if he's around here.
どうして
Why's that? Because the hood's cold. They might have ditched the car here.
校舎の中は
What about the inside the school? Haven't checked yet.
体育館は
And the gym? Same.
調べてみる
The one we look. The one we check. Yeah, good idea.
じゃあ小次郎は体育館の方を頼むわ
Alright, then you take care of the gym.
私は校舎の中を探してみるから
I'll check the main building. Got it. Wait, hold on. By the time I say that, Himuro's already run off. I was just thinking that might have been better for me to take on the main building instead. However, I can't afford to shout right now. Himuro plunged into the main building with Uzi in hand. Almost like a brave warrior from the old myths. Himuro sure has grown, huh? She wasn't that reliable back when she joined the agency. Wait, this isn't the time to be impressed. I'd race off for the gym. I open the door to that same familiar screeching. With a sound this loud, you couldn't hide yourself even if you wanted to. I grip the pen light in my left hand, holding my Glock above my wrist, and head into the gym. I step closely, taking one slow step at a time. Doesn't look like anyone's here. No one's here. Nothing's here. There's just a steel pipe chair in the middle of on the floor. I pass by and go further in. The rotten floorboards creak with each step I take. And just then, I hear the gunfire of the Uzi. The gunfire continues. Sound of the walls being torn, of the wallboards being torn through and being shattered apart is clearly audible. It seems Himuro's firing randomly without any care of her surroundings. Himuro, where are you? However, I get no response. Damn it! What the hell happened? I keep on running. Gunfires approaches at rapid speeds. Bullets shoot through the walls one after another. The shattered splinters stand into the air and form a whirlwind of small powder. Bullets fly from inside the building outside, which means Himuro's in the hallway. Sorry, so does that mean Himuro's in the hallway or is she outside? For all I know, she could be firing from the other side of the building. But either the case, it's clear she's firing while running. She's going from east to west, in other words, towards me. However, what's going on? Calm down, think. Why? Why am I only hearing gunfire from an Uzi? The enemy should have Himuro's gun. So why aren't they firing back? As I'm thinking that, I duck at the perfect timing. Bullets pierce the wall behind me and fly into the school building. The bullet missed me by a little hair's breadth. I hear footsteps running at top speed. They're coming from the west of the school building. I hide behind the wall. Sorry, no, I lean back against the wall as I stare towards the gate. No, she's not going to be sighing. I lean back against the wall and stare and look through. The sedan is parked on the inside of the gate. I can see someone racing towards the car. So I can see a shadow racing towards the car. That's right. A shadow. They're literally a shadow. It's that man who attacked me back at the harbor. I'm not letting you get away. I rush out from behind the shadow of the school building. Damn you! Wait up! I keep my Glock raised as I race towards the car. The man shoots me a glance, but he quickly climbs into the car. The The engine starts and the exhaust roars. It's all a repeat of last time. I only have 2 bullets left in my Glock. Only could just knock out the tires. I freeze and aim my sights. My target zooms out of view right before I can pull the trigger. Sedan races off towards the school gate. The rear tires screech as they slide. It turns the corner and disappears onto the road. Damn it! Bastard's playing games with me. I run through the gates and dash outside of the school grounds. A moment later, I find a car parked right in front of me. It's a 4-wheel drive black pickup truck. That's the car that I stole, isn't it? That's right. It's the car I stole from the shrine earlier. I took this car all to the hill and saw that horrible scene. I squint and look towards the driver's seat. And through the windshield, I see a familiar face I just parted with. When did you... She invites me into the passenger seat. I do as I'm asked and rush into the car. We race through the darkness at full speed. It almost feels like we can break through the speed of sound. No, the speed of light at this speed. Our pickup truck catches up to the enemy sedan in the blink of an eye. She skillfully steers the car while I'm in the passenger seat. And what's more, she's got a gun. And what's more, in her left hand. And what's more, all of her left hand. Her right hand is thrown outside the window. She's holding an Uzi in that hand. Countless sparks burst. The sedan's rear window shatters. Holes are burrowed into the cars, one after another. The sedan picks up speed. But our pickup truck's just as fast. Just when I feel like we've caught up, she suddenly swerves the wheel at a sudden curve. We bump into each other multiple times. Red sparks gleam between the two cars. Right after that, sedan hits on the emergency brakes. It flees into the woods. The pickup truck, zooming with all the accumulated speed, screeches as the rear wheels turn. We quickly fall off the sedan into the woods. The pursuit continues. The cars continue bumping into each other. because we're on poor ground. Every time when we bump into each other, the cars shake like crazy. My ears ring with the screeching of the cars chafing against one another. The sedan has already lost all semblance of its original shape. It looks like a giant lump of metal. No, like a crumpled up ball of paper driving. Even so, she doesn't let up the attack. He fires more bullets at the enemy. Flashes zoom out everywhere. Bullets soar through the air. Sparks scatter around. Sedan has almost been reduced to a complete wreck. To be blunt, utterly insane. My companion is driving the car, looking like a demon possessed. What could have caused her to change so much in such a short time? What could have driven her to such madness? It's almost like she's a possessed corpse. The trunks of a huge tree graze the car, the branches and leaves bouncing off the windshield. Every 0.2 seconds. Hold on a second. Every 0.2 seconds, I left the impression that if we'd been just a millisecond slower, we would have died. At this rate, I feel like it's not the guy driving the sedan, but rather she who's going to kill me at this rate. But it doesn't last long. It doesn't take long for me to snap back to my senses. We finally chase the enemy down to a cliff. With nowhere to go, the sedan finally stops though it's run out of power. Our pickup truck stops right in front of it. The two of us face off against each other for a while. Smoke and steam. Sorry, a great. So a great cloud that seems to be neither steam nor smoke rises from the hood of the sedan. By the time once the haze finally clears, the door quietly opens. A man appears from outside the driver's seat. It's the Shadow. I come out of the car too as though summoned by him. I take her Uzi from her. I point the gun at the Shadow. You sure gave us a wild chase there. But it's over now. Drop your weapon. The Shadow doesn't move at all. He doesn't make any attempt to try to plead for his life. I can't make out his expression very well. Though I can't make out his expression very well because he's backlit by the headlights. However, it doesn't seem like he's ready to give up. The Shadow's dressed differently from when we met at the harbor. He's changed from his combat outfit into a suit. He must have changed in the time when we got separated, but it doesn't really matter. The man in front of me is that guy who attacked me, no doubt about it. He feels as ominous as ever. I see. Well, I'll be honest, I didn't think you'd listen to what I said anyhow. I want to ask you all sorts of questions, too. But I guess there's nothing to be done about it. Looks like I have to put some looks like I have to pump you some lead in order for you to get you talking. If you think I'm not gonna pull the trigger, then you got another thing coming for you. You tried to kill me. And right now you're probably waiting for a chance to kill me again. My finger is awful slippery when it comes to people like that. I won't hesitate. Much like you won't either. I'll wait 20 seconds. If you don't drop your weapon by then, you will die. Okay, so as you can see in the lower right-hand corner, we have reached the roadblock in Kojiro's story and can no longer progress. And so we'll have to move on to Mari in this section, which we will do next time. So yeah, thank you for stepping in. Sorry about last week, and sorry about the microphone kept blanking out on me this time. Hopefully I'll have it down better next time, tomorrow, at the same time. But until then, I will see you all later.